Greetings everyone, Dave here from Mountain Goat. As you can see, the environment is a little different than where I normally shoot from. Tonight I am in my living room with my trusty companion and sidekick. A lot of energy bringing to the room, Bennett. And I have a lot of people ask me about equipment and gear, and I have some friends coming out that I'm going to do some trips and adventures with, and they come from the flatlands and have no experience about doing the stuff that I do. So I wanted to do a review of the stuff that I have just to show how easy and simple it is, because to me it's pretty easy, but I understand that I've been doing it a lot, and so what I expect people to understand and know, they don't have the experience or the background that I do. So a lot of this, the winter survival stuff, or just winter, working in general. I come from Minnesota, and I lived there for 36 years, and I didn't die. So that's one thing to help you, get training for how not to freeze to death in the winter. But one thing there is that the winters are bitterly cold. Out here in Denver and in the mountains, they're really different, just because of the elevation and the altitude. And so layering really comes into importance there, where in Minnesota you just kind of bundle up to stay warm and survive, where here, if you're moving and being active, you have different layers. And some of my background, I did winter survival training in Norway with the Norwegian Army. So a lot of experience there. We skied up into the mountains, slept in snow caves, things like that. So, and lived in the elements for a few days and how to survive in that. So I just use that and then kind of keep it pretty basic with my stuff. And I'm cheap. So a lot of the things that I found are things that I bought things that I didn't like, or, kind of experimented around. And my summer stuff is a lot more basic, but it's pretty much the same, except the winter I had a coat. So what I'm going to do is just kind of go into Mary Poppins' bag and pull out all my goodies and go from the simplest stuff and equipment that I used. And I'll also include links to the pieces and parts that I did get on Amazon. I'll put them at the bottom so that way, if you're interested, you can check them out for yourselves. So first off, socks, wear whatever's comfortable. These are the boots that I use. These are Irish Setters by Red Wing, which is a Minnesota company. So I bought a pair years ago at Gander Mountain when they were going out of business, and they were a little too big, and I was getting blisters in them, so I got a smaller pair. And I love these for both summer and winter. I also wear them for hunting. They're waterproof, like really good. And they are 600-gram thinsulate, so they're really light. I mean, they're very light. They look a little bulky and they feel a little bulky, but they're not. And they have a great rubber sole for gripping rock, even when it's wet. So that's why I like it, because if you use a hard sole and you're trying to climb up a face of anything, it slips a lot. So these things make my feet absolutely toasty. I do get blisters in them, but a lot less than once you get your skin conditioned. Pants. Actually just ordered some of these this week for a friend that's coming out. These are Gash pants from China. I'm guessing they're insulated on the inside, but not that crazy insulation that you normally get with pants. They're pretty soft on the outside. Great pockets. I don't even zip these up when my phone's in it, and I have never lost my phone. They never fall out. So all zipper pockets, comes with a belt. Fit to size. These are 3430s. That's what I wear. Easy stuff. Another benefit to wearing the boots that I wear and these pants is everybody that wears gaiters, I kind of laugh at them because a lot of people wear ankle-high boots and stuff like that. I've been indoctrinated into the Army. I've always worn regular, military-style boots. So to me, it's more ankle support and structure, and I never had snow go down my boots, so whatever I'm doing must work. But these pants, I don't need anything underneath them. As long as you're moving, my legs are usually sweating, and I've sat down in snow. I've used these to slide down hills. I've never had a problem with being cold. And that's something to take into consideration as well, is that most of the time, the stuff that I'm doing, I'm walking and climbing and being active for up to 8 to 12 hours out in the snow. So I don't really get cold. I just keep moving. But you're going to want to, wear more layers if you're going to stop. So my stuff's pretty basic because of that. The shirt that I'm wearing is what I wear. Actually, this is just a Columbia fishing shirt, I believe, or just a fishing brand shirt. Soft underlayer, call them a ninja suit, whatever. And on top of this, I wear a waffle top, or one of these kind of waffle insulators. I hope you can see it. It just has that material, adds for some breathing, and even in the summer, I wear this and this, and that's perfect. That keeps me both warm and cool. And in the winter, if it's, if there's not a lot of wind, that's all that I wear, even if it's cold. Let's see here. We'll go into hats. My most basic and favorite hat and is just a simple hat. My girlfriend got it for me for Christmas, and she complains that I never use the stuff that I gave her, because I'm hard to shop for. And I tell her I've worn this on every climb, except one because I forgot it at home. But other than that, simple hat. Works great. And it's breathable. I wear a neck gaiter to keep usually around my neck, but if it starts getting windy, I just use it to cover my face. As far as gloves go, I used to wear these. As you can see, I wore a hole in those ones trying to climb up some things, so I finally got some thicker leather ones, but I used to just wear these thin running gloves, and they'd work fine, and then if it got cold, I'd wear wind mittens on the outside. But this summer I climbed Crestone, and you can see wore a hole in the leather gloves already. It didn't take long, but they're fleece lined. They stayed warm. Earlier this fall, I climbed up Pikes Peak, and it got so cold it froze the tube of my water supply, and my hands, even in these, were freezing cold. And that's when I really started valuing the wind mittens. I don't know what you'd call them. They're mitten shells. They use these in Norway. They call them wind mittens because all they do is you put they're empty inside, and you just wear your glove inside of it so that it keeps the wind off of them so that you can keep your digits. And I got these for free years ago through a veteran outreach program, and I've got a couple pairs, so when friends come over, I usually just borrow them those. And another just neck buff, when it gets really bad out cold-wise for my face, because the thing that you have to remember and consider out here when you're that exposed is just covering all of your skin. So this one is just a nice hunting one that has a shield over your face, little spot for your eyes, so that way you're pretty much covered. But it can be a little annoying trying to breathe with all of those on, especially just a neck gaiter. I've had that where it's just soaking wet and freezing, but it's covering your face, so you're doing all right. And then as far as more covering goes, this is my coat. The girlfriend bought me a fancy coat from, I think it was Patagonia. It was $180 or something. Didn't have a hood, and it was an internal layer. And I went and I just exchanged it back to REI for a gift card, and then I went to Costco and bought this for $30. And they have them again this year for $30. I just went and picked up another one for a friend, and I have another friend that's coming out that I said, just go get this. I've been on top of freezing cold, 0 degree, 50-mile-an-hour winds in nothing but this, the waffle top, and this coat, and I was totally fine. And this is nothing. This is a thin coat. It's got, I think its down rating is 650. So it's not a big puffy coat. It doesn't take up a lot of room. And, again, as long as I'm moving, it's keeping the heat inside and I was surprised that how little of down it has keeps the wind off. But yeah, I was climbing about a month ago, and it was wind that was blowing me over and froze stuff in my bag, and I was fine. Just wearing this along with my other stuff there. And then I got a cheap pair of $30 goggles. These are Scott's. They're not big fancy goggles, but They allow it to breathe, and once I wear them, I never take them off because I can see so well in them. Otherwise, normally my eyewear is just a pair of Blender sunglasses that I've successfully not lost yet. So. All right, and then, you know, we can't forget our battery-operated things. Black Diamond Light, boop. This works great. This is their, says COSMO, so I'm not sure what brand that is. I think this is the size down from the best size. Girlfriend's mom got it to me for Christmas, and I wear it all the time. Once I'm wearing it, it keeps my hat tight to my head, so I usually just kind of leave it on. My phone used to die all the time, so I'd bring a battery bank out. I don't use it so much anymore, but now with the winter, it does kind of drain the battery a little bit more, or if I'm out on a really long adventure. Then I have like a speaker puck, and I have an old school iPod that I put on because I use my phone for navigating for the most part. I do have an InReach, fancy little doodad. These are $300. Got it off Craigslist. There's always, or not Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. There's always somebody out there that had a lot of ambitions that, you know, just lost those ambitions. I used to use the big InReach that's like $500, and it doesn't do anything different than this does. Never really used it, so I just link it to the app and I can text through this, and we call it the Orange Box of Doom in this house. And just in case, you know, the week after I went up Crestone Needle, somebody fell down the damn thing, and they saved themselves with this. They had to get medically evacuated out, so not a bad idea. This is my bag of goodies. I used to have, you know, there's storage spots all over in your bags, and that can just be a headache of trying to find where all your stuff is. Always have the same place for certain things, because that's going to help, so that you're not out there trying to find something and lost. I did that during elk season and forgot my headlamp was in there, and then my one died, and I had to dig in here and find batteries and put them in the dark. So I keep my snacks in here, bag of trail mix, jerky, dehydrated bananas to stop cramps. I always carry an extra shoelace because I had a bootlace break once, and luckily I was wearing my snowshoes, so it didn't really affect me. Toilet paper, because once you have to wipe with a sock, you never forget that stuff. For me, I have a lot of pain relievers and stuff that I keep in one of these fancy little tube things that are for meds, and I have iodine tablets in case I have to treat water. Keep batteries, chapstick, gum, and lidocaine. I have a lot of back issues, so lidocaine saves me. I just kind of lube up beforehand, and good to go for a few hours. As far as traction goes, these are my, as they fall apart, these are my my favorite poles. It sucks that one of them finally broke after using them and carrying them up. I mean, if you look at these things, they've been around and seen some things. But Walmart sells, these are Ozark Trails, and I just bought another pair because I'd rather use these than some of them other fancy ones. I've gotten stuck in the top of some trees in some snow before and had to use these as a pull-up bar and get myself out of the top of the tree when I fell through. And they're strong, they're durable, they're great. And these ones, they've lasted about a year going up. You know, sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't, but they've been through a lot of miles. Winter traction, Unigear. This is just a brand that I found. There's a ton. You can't really go wrong finding a brand of micro spikes, and these things are great. It's so funny that everybody, you know, like we always wait to put them on till the last minute, and then they're, you know, it's just like putting your feet in four-wheel drive. You can walk up so much better. But it's just a pain to want to put them on, and you got to click snow out of them. But when you need them, super nice to have. These, I've only worn these twice, and the times that I did, I probably could have used micro spikes. The one was climbing up an ice waterfall, though, so they really helped. These are just a cheap $20 or $30 pair of crampons that tie to my boots. I don't have a hard sole in those, they bend, but these are super awesome and they just open up. They're I pre-adjusted them and they just tie them up, and there's not even really that much of a profile on these. I gotta get a nicer pair this year because I intend to do a little bit more that fancy ice stuff. All right, and we're almost done. Let's talk about water. This is it for the winter. I started bringing a small bottle of Gatorade or Pedialyte now that I drink throughout the day, and I usually finish that before I start touching this. And this is like a liter and a half, something like that, and works great. Keeps the water from freezing. When I was up on Pikes Peak and I was chewing on the hose of my Camelback because it had frozen, and I was like, oh yeah, it's getting to be winter season again. I better start carrying it in a canister. And you use a lot less because you don't sweat as much. You still sweat and you want to rehydrate, but you don't need 1 to 2 liters of that. And that's a whole nother class for the summer stuff that I bring, because I bring a platypus to filter water and stuff like that. I'm pretty riveting because, as you can see, Bennett is still excited about this. While we were talking about traction, just quickly mention these bad boys. These are Tubbs Flex RDGs. They retail for about $188. I got 4 of them for $50, I think, last year, because somebody had 3 rights and 1 left. And they're absolutely great. These are light. They're made of plastic, so they don't have the binding all around them. There's another one that has a higher profile and I think a little bit longer in the back, but you just click on that and it tightens around your boot. I can't say enough nice things about this stuff, and they even have a traction here, so I've had to climb up almost vertical, and this really helped. Sadly, I bring these up now anytime where there's snow, and I left them off. I took them out of my bag when I went to go on something that had a lot less snow than I anticipated, and then forgot them there. So somebody got a really sweet pair of snowshoes for nothing. I tend to do that. I have a helmet, and I'm not going to review that because I don't like wearing helmets. If you get up early enough, you don't have people kicking rocks on your head. You can kick rocks on theirs. This is my bag that I normally use, just because it's, there's so many bags. You can have small ones, big ones. And in the summer, I barely carry anything, but in the winter, my snowshoes fit really nice in here. It's got more than enough pockets, fits my water. My poles fit in here really nice. Has all the stuff in the top and the front. This is an LL Bean that I got for $5. I used it originally for a motorcycle pack, and worked absolutely great. You don't need anything fancy. Last year I had less, but I also didn't bring snowshoes around much last year. This is my summer pack, but also works for winter, and this is my favorite thing. It's my Osprey 8th year 55 liter. So I use this in the summertime when I go up to stay in the basins, or I'll hike up into a trail 2 to 4 miles, camp, get up at 2, and then get to the summit by sunrise. So this fits sleeping bag, tent, water purification, my boiler, my clothes, all that stuff. And you always want your trusty American flag on there, just in case you get lost or you die. That way they know where to return you. So that is basically my stuff in a nutshell. I'll make links. Really wanted to just kind of make this for the people that are coming out to visit me, because they feel a little overwhelmed, or that they need all this expensive gear, or going to REI and a pair of pants are $300. My pants are $30, $40. Nothing that I have is too fancy. And the trick is to just go out there, keep moving, use your layers, don't expose skin in the winter, and you'll have a great climb. So hope you learned something. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out or leave something in the comments.